Studies have shown that positive reinforcement is a much more effective strategy in motivating children than negative reinforcement. But where do we draw the line? In today's world, our children are often praised, pampered, and protected to such a degree that they no longer have the capability as adults to deal with the hard knocks life brings. Nikki Bush, our creative parenting expert and best-selling author, is here to discuss effective parenting. Nikki, so good to have you here once again.
Thank you, Leigh-anne.
So in your view, are parents overly pampering and protecting their children, and what are the consequences of that?
I sat through a presentation a couple of years ago by a visiting clinical psychologist from the States, and he was saying we're overdoing the self-esteem thing.
Wow.
And we are providing our children with too much empty praise versus encouragement. And I thought he was barking up the wrong tree. Of truth in what he had to say.
Wow.
Because we are seeing children who have quite a sense of entitlement and an arrogance, and yet they have a low self-esteem.
Yeah.
And they don't have the resilience to deal with the hard knocks in life.
Okay.
Because parents are spending a lot of time running interference between them and the world,
Yeah.
taking away all the risk, micromanaging, hovering, helicopter parenting, because we don't have time for meltdowns. We don't want our children to feel pain and disappointment. Please, please, no. And then we also spend a lot of time telling our children just how wonderful they are at every turn, which is very different to encouraging a child when they've really persevered, for example, and they've made the D cricket team or the B netball team, and you praise their perseverance because they've worked hard to get there. And so a child who's always expected to win or has the pathway smoothed out so often that they do win or they get what they want when they want it. And that's the other thing. We live in a very consumeristic society. All these new gadgets and devices are coming out by the day, and the minute a child says, I want it, they often get it without having to wait. And that doesn't give a child anything to look forward to.
That's true.
In their life. And if you've got nothing to yearn for or dream for or look forward to, what's the impact on you then? Because it just becomes a give me, I want it now generation.
This is actually a very interesting point that you're raising right now, because I think there are a lot of parents out there who might have maybe looked at their own lives or maybe their, the elder children's lives and say, I wasn't able to give them certain things, so I'm going to give this child whatever they want because I have that guilt. What qualities are you denying that child as an adult when they finally get to being an adult one day?
There's some research that is showing that the more money you have, the more difficult it becomes to raise a child with values.
Wow.
So there's an upside down U curve. And it's an interesting one because children who are brought up with less often strive for more. So they have got those qualities of perseverance, of setting a goal, of having a dream, of being more resilient and picking themselves up and dusting themselves off and trying again. And I think that's the thing, is that life has become so easy that children have stopped trying. And you even have situations where children all get a medal for being in the school play, and they get a trophy if they did a really good performance. And gee, if your child didn't get a trophy, you can buy one outside the door and take it home.
Wow.
So there we see that sort of empty praise. And one of the things that they're finding is that when kids get into college and university, between the ages of 17 and 24, they suddenly have a realization that they are with a lot of other people who thought they were very special and very talented. And actually none of them are that special or talented. Nobody really stands out from anyone else. And they discover that their self-esteem has actually been built on shifting sand.
Wow.
And then they take a plunge, and this is when we're seeing suicide rates rocket, we're seeing depression and substance abuse creeping in, often in the more affluent sectors of society, where life has been a little too easy.
It's hard words, but it is the reality of the situation. So for any parent that's watching right now, where does one draw the line between rewarding a child for real achievement and then giving them that empty praise because we don't want them to feel like they are lesser than? Where does one find that balance?
You know, by all means, reward success. One needs to acknowledge when one's child has done something good, but it's not all about standing up on a stage and getting a trophy.
True.
Remember, at the end of a year, there are only 10 or 20 trophies to be had, and there are maybe 200 or 300 children vying for all those trophies. So as a parent, what else can you acknowledge your child for?
Yes.
And in the future world of work, the mantra is going to be who you are is going to be far more important than what you do or what you sell. So we must celebrate the who, the core, the character of our child. And character is built over time through successes and failures, through wanting, through having, through yearning and dreaming.
Yes.
That's what builds character.
Wow, it is important to show your kids that they are valued and capable of achieving whatever they set their minds to, but they also need to learn that life is full of ups and downs and things are not always going to go their way. By doing that, your children have a much better chance of handling difficulties in their lives when they enter the real world of being an adult.